Welcome to Nice to Meet You podcast, episode 23. It's been a minute since we've been in the hot seats, the barber chairs. Been taking a wee bit of a break, but we're back, and I'm honoured to say the man next to me in the barber chair, John Devlin, someone I've really admired for a long time in the Northern Ireland and comedy scene. I really admire your storytelling, your videos, so John Devlin. Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, brother. How are you getting on?
I'm good. I'm doing good, and it's a good guest to have on for the return of the pod. To say I've admired your videos for a long time.
Thank you.
We've spoke before. We've met up for coffee, and your storytelling, your craft is amazing. But I want to take it back before you even done all this. Where is the best place to start for people to understand you?
It's a great question. I think the majority of the content that I make, man, is a half sort of like, I would like, a lot of people have sort of said to me like, "Oh, you're a political comedian." I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, literally, I've got there's literally no part of me that's political at all. I just think that like it's weird for me, man, because like you got this concept of Northern Ireland, right, where it's like, you know, all these sort of people who are mad for like making assumptions about us, you know what I mean? The people of Northern Ireland, or the north of Ireland, whatever way you want to look at it, you know. But the thing is, like, we are some of the best crack, you know, about. And like, I guess the whole point of starting this was like, I wanted to kind of show that we are, you know, more than just our past and more than just sort of the crack that we have, and in a way to show that like the majority of people are getting over it, you know, that sort of way. A couple of people have asked me recently, like, you know, "Oh man, you know, like, are you not worried about like, you know, what the statements you're making?" It's like, nah, you don't understand. Like, the majority of people that you hear on the internet, or you hear in politics, you hear wherever, are the loudest voices, and they make up about 10%. Yeah. But there's 90% sitting there who are a silent majority, who just want to have a bit of a laugh and get on with life, you know. Yeah. But I enjoy making the content, man.
Yeah, no, all the comments are always really positive. Everyone knows it's a laugh. Like, I think the first video I ever seen of you, I think I was just scrolling one day, and it was like, I think it was the one about going to hell or heaven. Yeah. And it was like, what hell are they in, and where was the toaster kept? And I was like, this man's funny. Like, I know this toaster joke. Like, I've heard about it before. And I couldn't actually believe people kept it in their bloody cupboards. I was like, what is going on? The effort of putting it back and putting it up. I'm like, why do people do it? But so starting off then, you didn't have a comedian background before.
No, man. You talked to me 2 years ago, man. It wasn't funny, you know, that sort of way. What was weird, like what a lot of people don't know, is that like before I did any TikTok stuff and all the rest, I was, before even the big C, COVID or whatever, I was doing music, and I had a massive run trying, like I was doing gigs all around Northern Ireland, in bars and pubs and all the rest. And then I had someone reach out to me, basically who wanted to work with me, you know what I mean, work with me on a bigger scale. And I was like, unreal. Class. In music. And I was like, unreal, class, like this is it, this is my big ticket out of here, you know what I mean? And he was all like, brilliant, we'll get you sorted for production, we'll get you sorted for you know, a record label, all this sort of stuff. Literally end of 2019, sort of started 2020, COVID hits. You know, I never hear from them again. I'm like, right, okay, I have a choice. You know, I can just bury it, not worry about it ever again. But there was something in me that was like, just, you've got so little time left before life kicks you in the balls, you know. Take a shot at something else. And I made my first, I had a really dumb idea. It was literally just like, what if I love, you know, backgrounds, like I have my backgrounds in film as well. So I was like, what if films were set over here, all the characters, all the, you know, the sort of backgrounds, but kept the setting of it exactly the way it was in, say, the movie. And the first one I ever did was like a Star Wars, but set in Belfast. And it was the first time I did post a couple of things prior on TikTok about like just music and stuff. And then the first ever video I had sort of like viral was a video about like It, you know, like the movie It. And it went like 200,000 views, and I was like, holy shit, right, I've got something here. I got something, I gotta keep going. And from then I've just kind of been building on it. But like,
The Storm Peeler. I love that one.
Storm Peeler.
I thought that was quality.
I have a whole list of new characters that are invented, like Luke Shankle-Walker, the Count Dooku, like DUP.
You're talented, man, to basically write scripts and then to execute on them as well and do the edit. Mm-hmm. You're a one man band at the minute.
Yeah, nobody
just
else.
You.
Mm-hmm. There's it's like you get a lot of people who will turn around and kind of say things like, "Oh man, it's cool." Like, surely that must take a lot of time. And it's like, it does. It definitely does. But there's so much more merit to saying that you did something completely by yourself without anybody, anybody's backup, any money, anything like that there. Like, this is my baby, sort of way. And it's nice. It's just nice that people enjoy it, like enjoy it the way that they do. But yeah, and I like, you get comments, man. You know what I mean? You get comments, but there is the odd time you get like a nice. It's weird, like the effect that it has on people comedy, because you get the majority of people asking me, like, the one question I have most of my DMs is like, "Are you a Catholic or a Protestant?" The odd time I get this message from somebody, like I got one recently where it was literally just someone around saying like, "Hey man, I really appreciate your videos. I've been going through a tough time, and I just want to let you know that your videos, they make me feel a bit better in the day." And that's enough motivation, man, to keep any man going, So that's sort of what I live for, But like it is mad though. Like it's mad. Do you know what the thing that threw me off more than anything else, right? Is that like I don't get that much slobbering. Like for all the jokes that I make, like
I'm the same. I've never experienced much trouble.
No,
and everyone's really nice, and in person as well. Like sound.
Yeah, I think like. Yeah, you don't get, like, I don't think it's weird over here because, again, it's that loudest voice thing.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people who are really bitter, maybe would be a way to look at it. Maybe their life isn't exactly where it needs to be, and they kind of just want to have that, like, they want to have their 2 cents on a matter or whatever. But, like, I don't know, I guess if you fight for both sides, who's your enemy?
Exactly.
That's the truth. So,
you're representing the people, man.
The people. Just the people.
Every
doesn't matter
side.
What your political background is. Like, I love you all,
You're like the people's champ, and like you're actually getting recognised now. You're nominated for an award.
Yeah.
Is it content creator?
So I think it's best TikTok content.
Best use of TikTok. So
That's
best use of TikTok.
Yep.
Award nomination. Are you happy with that? What's your feelings on that? Because we've seen the videos, and people are demanding. People are demanding justice for many people out there. You being one of them.
I guess. I think there's. I don't know. I guess you could call it a stigma. There's something about making content in Northern Ireland that kind of puts you down one route, if that makes sense. I think sometimes, and it is. I call it like the TikTok culture, I guess, or even the social media culture, where it's like you see somebody do something and then you want to kind of replicate that in your own way, Mm-hmm. The issue that I have is that it eliminates originality, and a lot of the time there's some people who are really good at it, man. There's some people who get, millions of followers from it or whatever, but I'm an advocate for just original content, and like, you got your likes of like yourself, man, you got Costa, you even got Gideon Jed there, who are working their holes off. For creating content that's totally unique. And in terms of the awards, like...
You didn't want a Vava one?
No, I didn't want a Vava one. Lads, I'm raging. I'm literally raging. What he's done, like, No, like, I think there were some people, like, it's a massive compliment for people to say, like, to mention me in their videos, to say that they think that I make... good content, or I should have won the award for best content or whatever. But it's no disrespect to the people who genuinely really try for that side of things. And again, it fits a particular niche of people, and there's a big majority of them. There's a big group of them that, really enjoy that kind of content. But I don't know, I wasn't too hard pressed by not winning. That award, But the new one though, that man, it's mental. Like I remember the NI Social Awards. I kind of put it in on a whim as not even like I wish you could read the message. It was like I just make content, you know,
Yeah.
but nor
Just
no,
make funny
you know,
videos, yeah.
I make funny videos. No, didn't expect literally nothing of it, but it turns out that a pile of people like messaged me after or whatever. There was a period where people could vote or put their names forward on like a Belfast Live,
fair.
thing, and it turns out a couple of people put my name through, which is I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah.
But like it's it's mental. Like like. I don't need a pat on the back for what I do. You know, that sort of way. Like the fact that people enjoy it's enough.
Aye.
But like it's mad to kind of think like you've done something. You've done something a bit more than like what you ever thought you could, and somebody's looking to give you like an award for it. You know.
Yeah.
So it's cool. But
because you might be the only comedian that wins an award. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
The comedian scene in Northern Ireland sort of is separate from your NI social media. People.
It is.
And obviously there is no awards for that. And as I say, we're sitting here talking about awards. Awards probably mean fuck all anyway.
Literally. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the real truth is how you're sort of viewed, you know, that sort of way. And it's like, don't get me wrong, some people can get it twisted. Some people can maybe have one bad video and it can throw them through a loop. But I think if you have the respect of the people, that's all that matters. You know, that sort of way. Like nothing else. Like really, like I could have 5 millionaires, you know, like my content, or I could have 500,000 people legitimately feel a wee bit better in the day, get a wee bit of a dopamine hit just from watching a video, you know. But like, man, I think me and Costa, I'm shout out to Costa, man, he's an absolute legend, you know. Me and Costa had this really dumb idea about, like, after this whole event or whatever happened, where we wanted to create our own social media awards, you know, just for the people in Northern Ireland, just as a kind of like, I don't know, to kind of celebrate the people here.
Justice of it.
Just well, that's be funny as hell. So if anybody wants to fund us, you know, for that, give us a wee shout, you know.
I'll donate.
Aye. We'll take, you know, £3. Do the job.
You never make a bad video, mate.
Right, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate
like,
that. That's a big compliment.
Every video bangs,
Aye.
pretty much.
Aye.
So it seems anyway from the outside.
I guess.
From the inside, being John Devlin every day, like, what does it actually feel like, sort of just being you?
It's pretty hollow. No, that's a
From the outside, it just looks like this man is funny as hell. Like nothing doesn't work.
Yeah.
Must be amazing, bro.
I think it's all right. You know, it's like it's weird, man, because you get stuck in the rut of life most times. And I wish I could the only difference between me and any other person, and there isn't many, the only difference is that I inverted an ideology that most people have, which is most people think and then do, and I'd rather do and then think about it after, you know, that sort of way. And once you have that kind of, I don't know, when you get that kind of half-baked and working, it really does get to the point where, like, you don't, you know, you stop thinking about it. You know, it becomes almost like a second nature, and I wish I could show some people that, you know, that sort of way. That'll be the way about it. There's a lot of people with unbelievable talent, like in this part of the world, unbelievable talent. But when you tell them, man, go and do something there, you know what I mean? Just go and give it a go. Put yourself out there a wee bit, or it doesn't even have to be social. Like, it doesn't have to be anything on social media. But like, even if it's art or if it's, you know, a business idea or something like that, you're always met with the same thing. I mean, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
It never goes anywhere. You know, I hate that. The richest place on the planet, the richest place, isn't Silicon Valley or America or whatever. It's the graveyard. You know, most great ideas go there today. You know, and I don't know. Part of me wanted to give it a go. You know.
Where do you get that from, though? Because you're saying so many people just say, "Oh, I'll think about it." I'm reading the book at the minute, Diary of a CEO, from Stephen Bartlett, 33 Laws of Business and Life, and the bit I read today was sort of just what you're talking about. Yeah. But the way he explained it in the book is that the evidence that they have about themselves that currently exists doesn't match the new evidence that they could do something.
Yeah, I get you.
Because the current evidence is, well, I've been told I can't do it. I've never really tried it, but if I did, it probably wouldn't work. Yeah. And they built up a case for themselves that's true. Yeah. Yeah. And then someone comes along, maybe like yourself, brings new evidence going, I believe you can actually do this if you put the work in and want to do it. But it doesn't match the old evidence, bro. Yeah. So how How do you make that jump?
The person who says they can and the person who says they can't are often both right. You know, that sort of way. I don't know, man. People ask me all the time, like, who's your inspiration? And comedically, it is the likes of Colin Gaddis, Shane Todd, all the ones that paved the way for people like myself. But I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to explain like, I always take the simple notions in life, are the ones that I have most faith in. And like, my dad would be a very big inspiration in a way. Through the small things that he does. Like, he's 60 now, he's maybe not in the best well-being, that sort of way, but like, the man picked up, I can't remember the name of it, like, I can't say it, the like pen writing, really advanced like pen writing skills at the age of like 56, like, no need to, just wanted to. He started doing painting, never painted it before in his life, that sort of way, like, and drawing and art and all the rest, and he kind of taught me a valuable lesson in that like, you can just, like, it doesn't matter what age you get to, you can just do. You start to do. You
can just evolve yourself.
Yeah.
At any given time you want.
Aye. It literally doesn't matter.
That's amazing.
And your background, your social status, the only thing that determines that is you. At the end of the day, and the opinions of others don't matter. Like, you got a lot of people who really, really, really care about like their looks or their like what their friends are going to think, or their family are going to think, or whatever. And most of those people end up just getting by, and it's such a, I don't know, for me, and that's something that I figured for the longest time, that's something I never understood, was just the idea that somebody else can have power over you, would be the way I'd look at it, that sort of way, like, people can have like a hold on you just by the way that they think about you, that sort of way, but I don't know, once you liberate that, you become totally free, and then once that's happened, and then it's possible, That's the dream, like.
That's a good lesson to learn, man. In terms of the comedy scene, you sort of touched on there, Shane Todd's like an inspiration. He sort of paved the way. Do you ever want to get involved with them sort of guys? You haven't done anything yet with him, am I right in saying that?
I don't know if they know me, man. That's the truth. I don't know.
They bound to, man. How did they know?
I had this. Somebody asked me this recently, right? And they said, like, "Oh man, like, someday you're gonna be in the Shane Todd podcast." Guy, man, that'd be cool and all, but like, I don't.
Do you even want to do that?
No, I do. I would love to, man. Yeah. No disrespect, and there's not this. They're like absolute, titans in the industry at the minute, and the things they've done, man,
because they're selling out SSE arenas and everything.
Everywhere. They're Australia, America, all them places, man. They're really, really putting us on the map in terms of Northern Ireland.
Especially over the past 12 months, it's blew up like something else.
But what holds more worth to be in their field of view, like their caliber, or to work towards creating your own, caliber? And I think there is hope for us. You've got people there now, a new wave, if you want to look at it that way, like the likes of me and Costa. You've got the Water Brothers, like, Jake and all them ones, like, and they're killing it, that sort of way, in their own sort of way. And I think I'd prefer to have my own scene, or our new version of their scene, that sort of way. But again, don't get me wrong, if they came knocking out 100%, 100% be going.
Would you do like a stand up?
It's been in the cards. It's been in the cards. It's something that I might do in the near future. I might give it a go, like, and I'm gonna give it a go with literally fuck all promotion.
You're like hoping nobody shows up for it.
I want to do it in front of my man, dad, or something. Like, I don't really want to be
friends and family only.
The thing that most people don't know about me is that, like, I can seem sort of extroverted when I'm talking to people, but like, I'm well introverted when it comes to just like being in front of crowds. I can put myself in that character that, like, enjoys all that, but like, if I was bringing in the real me, like, I just enjoy, like, sort of being in a small enclosed group of friends and having a good time, rather than having everybody up and clapping and clapping and kind of giving you loads of attention, I guess.
How would your stand up sort of go? I'm not trying to give you a draft or nothing right now, but like, because your videos, how do you translate that? Because your videos, it's like, say it's a Yu-Gi-Oh setting, and it's great. Your videos are amazing, man, as I've said before, like, because you're editing your face on it, and you can see the character you're trying to mimic. So how do you translate that to just standing up with a mic?
point into the crowd and be like, mate, you Catholic or Protestant? I said this loads of times, man. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, I've changed the background of all the stories, but I tell the same 5 jokes over and over again. I keep coming back. I don't know. I think I have enough life stories to kind of have something to get me by or something like that, you know. But I don't know. I've written down some stuff. Like, we'll see where it goes in the future. Like, you know. But no, I don't know. It's a weird one. Like, I would love to do it. I will do it. But it just needs. I want to get a couple of other wee cheeky things coming up out of the way first, and then we're gonna
maybe go in there. Because is that the dream, or what is the dream for you? Like, what is success? If you were to sit and go, yeah, I feel successful because I done this or I achieved this. What is that for you?
I think
because you are a comedian.
Yeah,
you're not too fussed in the whole stand-up thing. You're working towards it, but
I don't know, man. I don't like the what you just said there now about having like a goal or a dream. Like that's the last chapter. That's the end of the story. I try not to think about it too much. I like to kind of take things, throw shit at the wall, like see what sticks, and then I don't know, like just go from there. You know, sort of way. But I enjoy like. I don't know, man, like, I love the chaos of life. I think, Jesus, that's so important. Like, I love the chaos of life. Nobody ever compliments the chaos of life. Because there's a way to swim through it that most people don't know. You know, that sort of way. Like, you got a lot of people there who are really, really struggling and drowning in the chaos and everything that's going wrong. But I promise you now, like, there's a beauty to the uncomfortable. And if you throw yourself at it, like, everything you've got, you know what I mean? And not care too much about what people are going to say about you after, or in the immediate thought, because it's what they're going to say about you in 10 years after you've completed it, you know? I don't know, I love that. So I don't know what happens next. Like, you know, like the weird thing is it's like, well, that's all TikTok crack and Instagram crack and all the rest. Like it keeps opening weird doors. Like not doors that I'm expecting, just weird doors. And I'm never somebody who says no. You know, that sort of way. Like, but I enjoy it, man. It's there's something special about the unknown. And being truthful. Like nothing's more important than being truthful to yourself. That's being free, and nothing else matters past that. You know, like you can lie. I think the most dangerous lies are the lies you tell yourself, and like it isn't always easy. Like I'm making it sound like I've got this all figured out. Like there is definitely times I'm sitting really struggling, maybe something to do with mental health or something along those lines. And it can be a real tough one. I know in the past it was a real tough run, you know, that sort of way. Like there's a lot of stuff in there, there's a lot of insecurities and a lot of things that you just don't know where life's looking to take you. But the only difference between me then and me now is knowing that I can make it work for me. You know, like I can swim through that chaos now towards something. You know what I mean? Purpose is while important. Purpose is probably the most important thing for, I guess, at least men, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. Like, it's just finding a way to make your life feel like it's going in a direction instead of being completely directionless, you know? Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
You mentioned there about having low moments and swimming through chaos, and you know that you can use it for good. And it's basically a remix version of what I believe. So I sort of hold the same belief, but Christian background for me. Yeah. And basically what I believe is God can always turn your mess into something good. Mm-hmm. Basically what you're saying. Yeah. Do you have a core belief in your life that keeps you sort of on the straight and narrow and helps you see the light in the tunnel?
I would it's an odd one for me, you know what I mean? It's like, is this your cheeky way of asking me if I'm Catholic or Protestant?
That was me trying to sneakily get in there.
That was smart. That was smarter than say I would go with that. But no,
proper journalist right here. Like.
But no, I think finding God is a good way to describe it. Like I wouldn't define myself as overly religious, but there's definitely elements of life that aren't explainable by sheer circumstance or coincidence that could be by some standard of a higher authority, you know? The only two truths that I know about life is that when I feel like something's right, when I feel like something's right, but it's going to be extremely difficult to achieve, I feel like that's the way forward. Whereas when I fall into, I guess, a state of comfort or a state of like, trying to just float my way through life and be aimless, that's when I find myself being more toxic to myself and toxic maybe to other people too, maybe that's a roundabout way of saying it, but finding God would be the way I describe it.
Finding God, so you believe, you lean into the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. I think you should always be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The minute you're comfortable, you're dying.
Yeah.
You're not growing anymore.
100%.
So you think like going through life finding God, not necessarily like you've arrived.
It's a similar belief. It's a similar belief system to the other stuff too. It's like once you've found it, what meaning does it have? Like it's not. I know what.
You like the chase, like trying to get it.
I like the idea of being something that I heard recently was like just to be curious, not judgmental. To be curious and not judgmental. So I believe that there could be something out there, in a sort of way, and I'm curious about it. But I'll never be judgmental about other people's sort of belief systems or what they want to believe. But yeah, I think finding God's the best way to describe it for now. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe in 5 years' time, you'll find me being some sort of or chapel. Or
Depends what side you pick.
I've got free reign right now. I can do whatever I want.
You said about purpose there. What is your purpose?
That's a great question.
That's a very tough question to be on the spot.
Question answer. Yeah. I don't know. I think I like the idea of being able to. I like helping people. I think that's a big one, and I like people making people laugh. Mm-hmm. I think for a lot of people who don't know, like I work in education. I can't say too much about it, but I work in education, and somebody said something to me once about being in that field, and it stuck with me for a really, really long time, and it stuck with me ever since in every facet of life. And it's that to be the person for them that you needed at their age or where they were at life, and like that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? It's a matter of like I talk to a lot of people, young and old, and when you're in that situation, you get a lot of people who are struggling. You know what I mean? Who are really struggling, especially in today's world. Like everybody seems to have something that's really eating at them. Be it something along the lines of mental health or even family issues or whatever it is. And the issue is that like I'm a big believer in that like anybody can be the next big thing. Anybody. It doesn't matter what the only thing that stops you is how you overcome your circumstances. The thing is, I believe that a lot of people are stuck in a certain mindset. And the whole time I would sit and I would go, man, you can do this. You know what I mean? You can do this. You could be whatever you want to be. You could be an actor. You could be the next, big engineer. You could invent the next biggest, you can invent the new wheel, And one of the kids turned around to me one time and it hit me hard, man. It hit me really, really hard. And he said, like, but how would you know though? And that caught me like a motherfucker. I was like, shit, how do you know? I don't have an answer for you. But now I do. I've done something. That was the sort of the flip point where I was like, right, I need to do something. That was when the music started. I need to do something with music. And then it came in. It somehow transpired to this. But that's what I mean about the chaos of life. You know what I mean? You start off, something goes wrong. And it's about how you handle that situation. And
I love how they asked you a question. And it changed basically your whole life. Because it always is. It's always a question. I feel like asking a question is far better than a statement.
Completely.
You're demanding action.
Mm-hmm.
That child demanded action from you.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah. How can, and like that's the thing, until you've achieved something that they think is impossible. And it is, man, like what I've done is impossible by all standards. Like it's not, I'm just literally a random wee lad from Marfelt, just up a felt. But I never believed in myself, never believed I was going to be anything, that sort of way. And by just raw sort of throwing videos together and putting myself out there, somehow I've been able to make something of myself in some regard. And And I believe it, like I said, anybody could do it. Anybody. Like, it doesn't matter what your background is. If you just apply yourself, and get rid of the toxic thinking that, like, if you get rid of I can't, like, if you get rid of if you change I can't and change I have to till I can and I get to, that's the
Change your life.
it's the only way to go forward, like, you know. But it is the youth, it's the young ones that I really want to be able to just aim in the right direction. You know what I mean? Just give them a wee bit of a push. That's it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
How do you practice that to make it something you actually, that's actually a habit in your life? Because that whole I get to, I want to, I can.
Yeah.
There nearly has to be some sort of something you do to make yourself believe that.
Yeah.
And whether it go back to the whole religion thing again, as you pray, or it could be meditation, it can be breathing work, it can be gymming, it can be something physical. Like, I don't know if you can just wake up and have it.
No, I don't.
And these days, it's very out there that if you're not doing something physical, spiritual, every single day, chances are you're going to stay the same.
Yeah, motivation.
Is there something in your life that you practice that?
Motivation is great, but discipline is the key. You know, that's the truth. And like, it's not a matter of sort of something that I would practice. It's just, it's waking up and realizing every day that you've only got maybe a handful of, you could have 80 years left, or you could have 5 minutes left, you know. And I think it's just knowing if I'm going to come to the end of my life, I just want to have something there, something like something solid, not malleable, something that's like a strong sense that when I'm lying on my deathbed to say, you know, you did literally everything you could, and you lived happy from it. You know, like, that's it. You know, and that's something. It's like talking to people who are, you know, maybe they found out some news, they found out some terrible news that maybe the time that they thought they had left wasn't as much as they thought it would be. You ever meet somebody like that, man? After they've maybe, you know, had the initial shock of it, you should see the way they live. You should see the way they live. It's wonderful. You know what I mean? Like, life is. It's a terrible thing. Don't get me wrong. It's a terrible illness. It's a terrible thing. But you should see the way that they treat family. You know, and the way that they show love, and the way that they give respect to people after that. You know what I mean? And the way that they want to go and actually challenge themselves then. And for me, it isn't a matter of trying to live like every day is your last, but trying to live as if every minute counts towards that is the way forward.
Yeah.
That, and just, like, I don't know, asking people their
Being
religious
grateful.
preferences.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I've got a tattoo on my leg. I ask everybody this question, right?
Okay.
I'm not going to show you.
You're not going to get it out.
No.
I was getting excited there, you know.
I know. Everybody says that to me. But it says better at 70, right?
All right.
And it actually means something. So it means that I want to get older, but I want to get better.
Yeah.
Because every single time I look at someone's life, the older they get, they tend to get worse. Yeah. And that doesn't necessarily mean financial or physical, but more in terms of, like, the quality of the relationships that you have. Most of the time I look at people and it's diminishing.
Yeah.
They're older and they're more lonely than ever because they've never invested meaningful time into connections that they made. And it's something I always looked at and I went, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be that guy that the kids want to come back home, the grandkids want to come and see me. The friends I had and maybe met one time want to see me again. Yeah. And that's sort of what I live by, because I'm like, that's going to help me get better. And it really motivates me. I see it every single day. I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I see in the morning. Better at 70, right? Stephen, what are you doing today to get better? You're not going to be the same person you are now. Is there a quote or a saying or even a song or something like that sticks with you? That sort of goes round your head every day and helps you do what you do?
We talk about being sort of having a complete mindset or whatever and that sort of stuff. The one that gets me every time, it's an old African proverb I heard from he'd be a motivational speaker called Les Brown. When there's no enemy within, the enemy on the outside can do us no harm. You know, all problems begin internally. All issues, all things that we consider like our biggest demons, I guess, all originate from the inside. They don't come from the out. And if anything does hurt you from the outside, anything does hurt you from the external, it's often just a reflection of what's going wrong inside, you know. And if you can find a way to eliminate those demons or eliminate those problems that you have internally, you'll find that there's not much on the outside that's going to really hurt your feelings, you know. That's something that I live by, you know. There isn't much that's going to really offend me, you know. I think that's
Your comments ain't doing nothing on it.
But I love it, man. I think it's great, and I think like there's a lot of lessons to be learned in like how you go about certain way things. Like I love like you were talking there for a wee while about how how to deal with like comments, say people being mean or whatever. I have this really, I guess you could call it a toxic approach to things, right? But like a lot of people would turn around and say something like, "I'm gonna give these lads a call out here because like they'll know." I'm not gonna mention them, but they'll know who they are. Like I don't want to be going bad mouthing them. Like, but the like. Remember I was doing a live once, and like lives are alright crack. Like I enjoy them, you know. I enjoy getting in contact with the people and all.
Yeah.
But I remember these couple of lads came in, and I was doing a song or something like that. I was just singing away, and this one lad comes in. They're like, "Fuck up," and I'm like, "LOL, right, okay, LOL." You know what I mean? I have a bit of crack with them, and I have this sort of belief system that like everybody online just wants attention, and sometimes they just don't know how to go about it. You know. So I turned around and I was like, "Right, okay, whatever." And then I seen, you could call it like Legion or whatever if you want to reference to the Bible. You know, like it was like Legion, he went and invited 7 other of his friends and all of them, I mean, I swear to God, or maybe 100 people were in there, like all of them just constantly going out, like back to back, you know, every comment was something negative. And again, like it didn't bother me that much, but I just thought like it was well funny, like if I could just turn this, just switch it in a different direction. So I thought to myself, like what sort of people, like not what sort of people are they, but like, you know, what would be the kind of way they would get on with each other? So I just switched the entire conversation. I was like, right, okay, lads. But who would win in the fight, though? You know, out all you, who would actually win in the fight? And they started slobbering about each other and fighting each other. And then, like, it got to the point where I started creating, like, it was only meant to be an hour live, and then I spent 3 hours of these things. But I ended up, like, creating, like, live polls where I allowed the audience, like, to vote in and have, like, you know, like, their whole, like, you know, their whole system. So for, like, you know, whatever amount of time it was, like, they were having the best crack. Yeah. And at the very end of it, man, like, all 7 of them or whatever, totally positive, totally nice, all followed. And now they're, like, regularly on my stuff, having a good time, you know. So like you get a lot of people who would turn around and say something like, "Oh, you should always ignore the haters," and I'm like, nah. Sometimes the haters have got a point, and not always. Like some people are just there to be toxic, but some people aren't. You know, some people maybe if your video is, say you make a video, you make something like that there, and somebody says something, not so much that's negative, maybe that's critical. You know. There's something there just to take, maybe not all of it, you know, because the way that they worded it could be mean or whatever. Sometimes just a little bit there. Don't look at it in a way to stop. Look at it in a way that, okay, there's something I can improve on that. There's something I can do in that. There's something I can make just a little bit better. And don't make it for them, but make it for you. You know, make it so that everybody else seems to enjoy it, you know.
That's so true, man. And you made a good point there is it matters more where you finish than where you started.
Yeah.
But what matters more than that is how you get there.
Literally, that's
so true. And I can remember, I think my first ever podcast episode had dropped around this time last year.
Okay, sick. Yeah,
and someone had left a comment, and she said that it was good, but there was a few things I had to work on in terms of how I delivered a conversation. Yeah. And I liked it. I loved it. I actually loved the comment instead of liking it, and replied, "Thank you so much. Definitely will be taking this on board."
Yeah.
But I really appreciate your comment.
But I'd hit you in the fucking chest.
I remember thinking to myself, for fuck's sake, I'm going to be shit at this.
For the first 3 minutes, you're like, I hate myself. Like, why am I doing this?
But I was like, you know what? The girl has a point probably as well, that I know I'm not great anyway. And I've always said, mate, like, I know you're going up for an award. If I ever won an award, my caption would literally be, "My social media is overrated," which I got on the t-shirt, by the way. I have a t-shirt that says that. Can't wait to wear it to one of them things. But my caption would literally be, "God can breathe on what you're doing."
Aye.
And make you look better than you are. Yeah. Because it's so true. And I actually replied to that comment, what I said there. Yeah. And she commented back going, "Can't believe you replied to this comment. I love that you replied so nicely. Yeah. And I know for a fact now you're going to be better than you were."
Yeah, brilliant. That's a brilliant.
I was like, wow.
It's a brilliant
comment
back as well.
That's everything, man.
Yeah, big time. I think, it's like, you know...
Imagine I got butthurt over that. and went, fuck you, you know nothing. Like, you would never learn, man.
The domino effect of things, man,
kills
me when you think about it. So, like, I've tried to break it. Sometimes I get really into this. I get wild sci-fi nerd, like, so, like, I always think about parallel universes and where we'd be if this, whatever didn't happen or whatever, like, the butterfly effect. And, like, I've went back, far enough in my life, and you realize that, like, you talk about divine intervention or whatever, but, like, there's certain moments just where you're like, if I didn't take 3 steps forward there, like, if I didn't, if I didn't brush my teeth that day or whatever, I mean, or if I slept for an extra hour, like, none of this would have happened, And then that's the reverse of regret. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not looking at your life and thinking about the things that could have went wrong, because regret's so silly. Like, like, it's situations that are meant to happen. That saying fries my head. The whole, like, what's meant to be will be. Like, no, that's just taking
lazy as well, isn't it?
It's just taking an out for what you could be, like what your highest version of yourself is. And I believe that, like, you've just got so much. Some people have got so much potential for great things. I mean, great things, man. If they just looked inward and realized that they could do it, that's something that I genuinely believe. I am definitely sounding like one of them pure motivational speakers.
No, mate, you're deeper than what people would think. I would say,
I feel like
because you only see 1-minute clips and they're funny videos, so people don't actually know. That's why I wanted you on this pod, because I'm like, this man ain't a shallow pool. Like, like, there's more than what meets the eye, and I believe that about everyone.
I agree with you.
Like, if you're in a relationship right now, that person you're with is deeper than you think.
Completely. Yeah.
That friend in your life is deeper than you think. You see a front every day, but they're deeper. Like,
yeah, shout out, like, she'll hate me for this because she literally hates attention. I mean, like, she hates it. But, like, shout out to the girlfriend, though. You know what I mean? She was the first person to say, we're
nothing without you.
Yeah, without them gals, But she was actually I see you when I first started TikTok, man. And I never downloaded it, and I was that a guy you could call, like, a boomer mentality or whatever. Like, I literally was like, this is the cringiest stuff I've ever seen. Like, it's just people, like, doing that. Like, it was all American. I was the first time I opened it up, it was the entire American feed. Like, I was not getting none from over here, and I wasn't seeing any good content like yourself or anybody like that there, But like, I remember going through that stuff, man, and it was like the most not me thing I've ever seen, like, and again, no disrespect, if that's what you're into, fair play, like, that's 100% fair play, like, but I think you have to have, like, either a certain level of fitness, a certain level of attractiveness or whatever, or, like, a certain amount of a charm, which I literally am none of, I think there's a lot to it, and then I was during the music phase, I was trying to get music going. She turned around, she was literally like, go on, just do one. And I remember that was the one, and, like, I don't know, you're not much unless you have a strong person behind you. It doesn't matter if it's a man or woman, you know what I mean? But you're not much if you don't have a strong person behind you. Not everybody needs it, but it's always good to have that one bad motherfucker behind you, that sort of way to have you, to get you through that. And she'd be the one for that, to try and get me past my own insecurities or things that I would be struggling with, So shout out to her. I'm not going to name her. I'm literally about to drop.
Everyone will be Instagram her after this. Who's Sean's girl? Let's see her.
Yeah.
I want to finish with one last question, and it's probably from one of my favourite ever podcasts. It was Jimmy Carr, comedian.
Love Jimmy Carr.
I'm leaving you with a comedian's question, because obviously you're a comedian, and I'm sure you probably love Jimmy Carr.
I do.
As everybody does. Great guy. And his podcast on Diary of a CEO, Steve Bartlett's, was so good. I've rewatched it, I'd say about 5 times.
Yeah.
Really hit me. I couldn't believe how intelligent he actually was.
Yeah.
And the level of thinking that he had, and even whenever he started being a comedian, and the grind that he put in, like leaving a very good, well-paid job to live on scraps for a long time, but he believed it and loved it so much. His question he left, I want to finish this podcast with, is, are you happy?
That's a good one. Happy is a funny word. you know, it's a difficult one to comprehend, because what is happiness to anybody else, you know. I believe the beauty of life happens in the bittersweet, you know, and it's not just when things are good. Like there's a beauty to figuring out to the hindsight of the bad, you know, and realizing just how much you can appreciate when times are good. Happiness is a funny thing. Like, you know, you get a lot of people who are dying for it when they don't realize that the real beauty is in the struggle, you know. And happiness to me, just on a completely personal level, defines comfort. And comfort to me is something that makes me uneasy. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So am I happy? Not as much as I want to be, but that's a good thing. You know, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I believe that there's still so much more I have to give, and whenever, I don't know, I'm dying on my deathbed, that's maybe when I'll admit I'm truly happy. You know, like.
Great answer, man.
But that's it. You know.
Great answer.
Thank you.
Great episode, man. Real pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
For your time this
no
evening.
At all, yeah.
Coming to the Mina from the Filt.
I know, and it is mad. Like, you know, Ballymena at night, not as scary as I thought it was going to be. You know,
it's not a bad place.
No,
but
not at all.
Thanks so much, man. It was
got it,
good
brother.
to be back in the hot seats, and I couldn't have asked for a better person to join me. So appreciate it. If you like the video, subscribe on the channel, and if you aren't following John Devlin already, his links are going to be in the bio. Make sure to hit him up if you're looking for some funny sketches to laugh at.
Sick.
Peace.
And when are we getting a haircut?